I want to say something about Dr. Collins and her advice to people about how to go about caring for themselves or others. The thing she said yesterday about hospice being nothing but basically drug pushers, and saying don't put your family member on hospice. Hospice is nothing but keeping them over drugged. First of all, most people who end up having to go on hospice probably are in so much pain that they require large amounts of pain medicine, because they probably have cancer or some other debilitating illness. This is what is known as, for Dr. Collins, and maybe she doesn't know this, but this is what is known as palliative care. Basically, it is just making this person as comfortable as possible, easing their pain, easing their distress, just making everything easier for them and the family that is taking care of them. I take care of a lady right now who is on hospice, and no, she is not overly drugged. She takes 2 prescription pain medications a day. 2. You probably take that many when you first wake up in the morning, and they're probably not even prescription for you. She loves to fashion herself an expert in all things medical related. She didn't. She kept saying she was going to have Ed to take her to this woman's house to visit and to help the family. I doubt very much that would be very welcome by that family. I would say that if they know her the way most people in that town do, they wouldn't turn their back. Have a family member, or you yourself are in need of palliative care, end of life care, that you are just your relative, your spouse, your child, your husband, your uncle, your dad or mom, grandparent, whatever it might be. If they are in a position where they are at the end of their life, they have some prognosis or diagnosis that, let's just make them comfortable. That's what hospice basically does. They just ease the suffering of the relatives that are caring for this person, and they ease the suffering of that person through medications and through bringing things to them to their home, such as diapers, if that's something that person might need, or oxygen tubing, whatever it might be that they require. They don't treat necessarily, but they do aid in that person's comfort and caring. And to tell people, don't rely on hospice. All they're going to do is come out there and drug you up. Believe me, if she thought for 1 minute that she could get drugs from hospice, she herself would throw herself down on the ground and swear she was dying. And now her mother breaks her toe, and now she's crying because, my mom might have to have surgery on her toe. She said herself, driving in the car that day, when someone asked her what they were doing to treat her mom's toe, and she said, there's nothing you can do for a broken toe. I'm just to the point, people, that I just can't hardly do it anymore. I watch a little bit here and there, but I can't sit and watch her like I did before. The audacity that she has to sit there, and this is what triggered me more than the whole thing about hospice yesterday, was her talking about how hard she's having it, how hard everybody's having it, and you just pay your bills and you live paycheck to paycheck, and then you're broke until you get paid again. Well, sister, join the friggin' club. She's sitting there, I'm not having enough left over after I pay all my bills to buy some t-shirts. I would love to be able to buy some new clothes. I haven't bought myself any new clothes in a long time. And believe me, I need them. Probably a lot more than she does. Because unlike her, I'm actually out in the public eye. I have to actually go out and work for my money. I can't just sit on my bed and beg for somebody to pass a garbage truck here on the road. I can't just sit there and beg for people to send me money. Some of us have to get up of the morning. We have to get ourselves dressed in whatever clothes we have. And then we have to go out and work. Putting gas in our car. She gets out, her and her mom gets out every single day and goes road running. And she doesn't worry about where the gas is coming from. It's not coming from her paycheck, her so-called paycheck, as she says. She sits there, guys, we're going to have some gas, guys. We don't hardly have enough to get back home on, guys. Come on, guys, send up those stars. Come on, guys, help us out here. If you're really my friend, if you really love me and my mom, you don't want to see me and my mom have to get out and walk down the highway with her broken toe, guys. Come on. I get over her. This is the reason why I've pulled back and haven't been watching her as much. She is nothing but the scuzz on the bottom of the, you know how you get like a child's swimming pool and you leave water sitting in it, or like a dog's water bowl, and you go to wash it and it's got this slimy film on it? That's her. She's that slime that gathers at the bottom. It's like just disgustingly stinks, and it's just gross, and nobody wants it. She makes me so sick. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. And this is the reason why I've had to pull back watching her. Because I can't with her. With everything that's going on in the world right now. And then to turn her on and hear her say, don't go to hospice. What would you have these people do, Dr. Collins? What would you have these people do? Call you? Because, yeah, everybody wants you in their home. I bet this family doesn't even want you in that home. Because they probably figure, just like everybody else knows you, that if you come into that home, you're there for a reason to suit yourself. Care to anybody. Because all you can talk about is all the things that this woman did for you. Oh, she grew cucumbers in her garden just for me, to make me pickles. I spent the night at her house so many times when I was a drug-infested crack whore. Like you don't give nothing back. Yeah, maybe this woman felt badly for you, and maybe she took you into her home because maybe she saw what kind of life you were living, and maybe she thought maybe she could help. Because the older generation of people believed that loving somebody and caring for them and fixing them a hot meal would help them. Stop taking your medical advice from a damn crack whore, from a damn pillhead who thinks that she's got the rest of this world convinced that she's straight, that she's clean. Have you ever stepped foot into an NA meeting? I doubt it. I doubt it. When you and Mama Con are out driving around and you're rattling your little pill bottle in the car, oh, that's my Aleve, guys. I have to take some Aleve. Yeah, it Aleve's all right. I'm telling you what. I believe with everything in me that the Breathitt County Sheriff's Department and the Kentucky State Police at what post is that? Post 13 out of Hazard. Waiting on him to pull out. Anyway, they just have to be turning a blind eye. And it may not even be about her. It may be about her candy man. He might be the one that they're turning the blind eye to. Because it's my experience that a lot of people who sell this type of stuff are well-known members of the community. They're not living in some dumpy trailer in the backwoods. They live in nice homes, and they are known to the community as good, upstanding people. But everybody kind of knows who they are and what they're about, so they already kind of know what's going on, you know. They're supposed to be here today. Let's see. I gotta run in here real quick, guys. I'm gonna pause y'all, and then I'm gonna try to calm down a little bit, because I haven't made a video in a while, and I start talking about this stuff, and you can see how I get. I just, she's more than I could stand of it lately, so I just really haven't been talking about it, because it just gets to me. Talking about this woman, all the stuff this woman did for her. She doesn't say, you know, I appreciated all the stuff she did for me, because I was at a low point in my life. I was out here doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and this woman gave to me when she didn't have to. She could have turned her back on me like everybody else probably had. But she doesn't see it that way. She sees it as though this woman, that she was so special, that she is so special, that this woman and everybody else in her life just do for her because she's so deserving of it, you know? That's what I get out of her. And I apologize for my earlier rant, but I just get so ticked off about people like her, because I see underneath people's, you know, I don't want to say I'm clairvoyant or nothing like that. I'm not claiming anything like that. I'm just saying I see people's true intentions sometimes, and sometimes I don't. I think I do a little better now, because I have myself been burnt by people in the past, you know. So it's a little bit easier now to see who they are and what they are and what they're all about. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I don't think that I am. Anyway, I would just say to her followers, to her supporters, how does it make you feel to get your check every month, or maybe you work and you earn a paycheck, and right now with the higher price of food, the higher price of gas, insurance has gone up, electricity has gone up. After I pay my bills, I try to make sure I've got enough money left to put gas in my car to get to and from my job. There was a time when I maybe would have stopped and picked up a pizza on Friday night. $16 maybe, 12, 13, whatever. We don't have a Little Caesars, so we can't go get the, you know, $6, $8 pizzas and get 4 or 5 of them at a time like she does. We don't have anything like that. So if we stop and get a pizza, it's in some local restaurant and they charge a little more. I don't even do that anymore. My husband and I do not go out to eat. We do not go out and do anything because we're fucking broke and we're poor. We are actually struggling. When she says she's struggling, put that off on 90% of your neighbors, 90% of your community, not her. They said that I read something, I skimmed through it this morning, and someone had posted that she's at around $6,000 right now on her STAR goal to get to 10,000. And she denies that she got 10,000 a few weeks, a month or two ago, whatever it was. But you know what? I've got a friend right now, and I often wonder to myself, how do they make it? How do they make it every month? My friend's husband he had 2 kids before they got together by 2 different women. So he's got to pay child support to 2 different women. It's not just child support to one. Because if he had both these children were by one woman, the judge would probably set it at a certain dollar amount as a whole, but he's got to pay to 2 different support payments. And basically, it's quite a bit, because he's got a good job, and she's got a pretty good job, his wife. So he pays quite a bit child support, and he pays it because he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to lose his job because he has to call his boss and say, I'm sorry, I can't come to work. I'm sitting in jail because I didn't pay child support to my children. Not only would that make him look bad to his employer, it would make him look bad to the company. And not just because he missed a day or two of work, but it would show him to be an irresponsible person who, if he doesn't even care about his own children, what makes them think he gives any hoot about this company that he works for, or the equipment that he's put in charge of taking care of, and all these men that work under him, that he's the boss of them? If he doesn't even care about his own kids, how's he going? What are they going to say? Well, he's qualified to care for someone else's kids. You know, they may be grown men, but they're still somebody's kid. And I often wonder, how do they get by each month with a car payment and all the basic necessities of groceries and gas and, 3 kids in school that they have to buy school clothes and shoes and, ball games. They want to go out. They want to go to the ball game. They want a little spending money. And then you've got insurance, health insurance, all this stuff. They're the typical, they might be a little atypical, because not every typical family has children out there that they're paying child support to from 2 previous marriages before, but they're just getting by. People are just scraping by. They're digging around looking for money to pay this, and then they're letting this go to pay that. And I can't understand how these people that watch her think that it's okay for them to get this money, whether they're working for it or whether they're getting it from the Social Security that they worked and paid in, or whether they're getting it from the government in the form of SSI or some type of grant or care for their children. What is it, like welfare or whatever it's called nowadays? And they think it's okay to take part of that money that they know is supposed to go for their food. They know it's supposed to go for their insurance, their electricity, their day-to-day living. And it's okay for them to put aside a little something for her. Because she sits there and talks about how people are struggling, but she's not struggling. The biggest struggle she has of the day is to get up and find her cigarette lighter and light her cigarette and turn her phone on. That's her struggle. And she sits there and she tells everybody how poor she is and how hard they're having it. And the whole time she's sitting there guzzling down a mellow yellow and smoking one cigarette right after the other. If she was really struggling, she wouldn't be smoking those cigarettes because she couldn't afford to buy them. It shows you the mentality of somebody like her who just does not know what struggle really is. She may have at some point in her life. She probably did, just like most of us have at some point in our lives. Some people struggle for a week, and some people struggle for a decade, Some people never, ever achieve a certain amount of standard of living, or whatever you want to call it, and some people achieve it pretty quickly. But for her to sit there and say, there's nothing here, guys, we're all just struggling here in our county. And then she drives around town showing off all the businesses and stores and restaurants and stuff that's there. And I know that they have an ARH. I would say a lot of the people who live there in her area who are in the medical field probably travel to Hazard, because there's several big clinics and a big hospital and several big clinics in Hazard. But there's clinics in Jackson too, and there's a hospital. These people, they don't want to struggle, so they go to college or they go to some type of training. And not everybody's looking to get out. You know, it's like that old song, what's it? Everybody's looking for some way in, I'm looking for some way out. But not everybody is. Some people want to stay in their hometown. Some people are proud of their heritage and they want to stay around their family. She acts like that it is because there's no opportunities. And it just goes to show you how full of it she is. I know a woman myself from Jackson who grew up right there in Jackson. Is probably close to her age and may very well have even gone to school. I don't know if they would have gone to school together, but they probably would have gone to the same school, or at least around the same time frame. And this woman is now pretty high up at a college. She holds a position of authority at a college. And she's from right there in little old Breathitt County, where there's no way out, you know. It breaks out, according to Cmc, it breaks off when you get to the edge of town. The world just breaks off and you just fall over, you know, down into the depths. Because she's never tried to do anything else. The internet was her savior. The internet has been her probably the best thing that ever happened to her in her life. And she would probably she did tell you all that. She said that out of her very own mouth when she was asked what is her favorite thing or whatever, and she said her followers and her supporters. Not my children, not my man that I call my husband, not my family, not this so-called best friend who popped out of nowhere all of a sudden, and her dying mother, but strangers that she uses and takes advantage of on the internet. And the reason that they are so great to her or for her is because they don't really know her. She's got people, so she tells them, these people, these haters won't come and say this to my face. Well, she's got everybody blocked, and the ones that come on to her live and make comments, trying to get those people to read those comments just enough to it gets in their mind to where they would think, let me look into this. Let me see what they're talking about here. Why are they saying this about her? She blocks them. She deletes that comment and blocks them. Then she tells her people, just ignore it, guys. They're just haters. And then she has her flying monkey cronies that she puts up to it to come in and comment about how all of us haters are coming in their inbox and sending them these horrible messages about her. But they never provide that proof. They never share those screenshots. They never say, look what this one from this awareness page sent me. Look at the horrible things that they said. They don't provide the proof of that. And just like from her own mouth, I would say, prove it, prove it, prove it. But I want to say, I do apologize for my rant from earlier, but this is just how irate I get when I think about the way that she counsels people on hospice and counsels people on how to live. She does it in such a way, it's brainwashing. She's trying to brainwash these people. Don't go to hospice. They're going to over-medicate you. I guarantee you right now, if she came down with something that was debilitating and that they told her there's no cure for you and you know, your life is going to be shortened, she would turn to hospice in a New York minute. Especially if she thought that there was really that much pain medication being doled out, she'd have poor Ed, Mama Con, and not everybody in her family on it. But the truth of the matter is they give medication as needed. I've worked for several people who were on hospice, and I never saw these people being drugged, overly drugged. Sometimes, and I know this is going to be a concept to her that she can't really put her mind around or would never admit, but sometimes it's not the nurses and the doctors pushing pain medication and stuff on a patient. Sometimes that patient gets to liking that pain medication just a little bit too much, and they start to over-medicate themselves. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen right in my own family. I've seen it happen with patients that I've worked for. And sometimes it happens. I've seen people who people thought were really bad off sick and thought that they were really have dementia or anything else, and it turned out that they were just overdoing it on their medications. The difference with hospice, and some people could correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the people that myself personally have worked for or had in my own family that were on hospice keeps a pretty close watch on that. I know one nurse used to come to the home of a person that I took care of at least once every 2 weeks to count their pill bottles. The nurse herself would come into the home and say, "Give me the pill lockup," and I would bring her the pill lockup, and she would count the pills. And it's not just because of the patient, it's because of family members and caregivers. I personally don't take any kind of narcotic pain medication or anything like that, but I could be one of those people that's sneaking and taking a pill out of some patient's bottle, and I'm sure that there are people out there that do that. That's the reason why people like her don't want people to go on hospice, because they keep a close watch on the pills and things that they give to their patients. That's more of the reason why she would advise family members not to go on hospice. Because then she wouldn't be able to go into their home and sneak a couple out of their bottle at her own will. If she was on pills, you know. Which we all know she's not. I mean, she reminds us of that every single day. But anyway, I've talked longer than I planned, and I apologize if I got a little bit ranting. This is why I take a break sometimes, and I encourage all of you all to as well sometimes, because it's like we're watching a soap opera or we're watching something like on Netflix, but it's not. We forget sometimes that these are real people and how damaging she's being to others, because there may be somebody sitting there listening to her, and a week from now or a month from now their husband or their mother may become very ill, and they may be told by the hospital or the doctors that maybe it's time to call hospice, and they're going to say, "Well, I can't do that because Crystal said they were bad," because she's got these people so brainwashed, these gullible, already easily manipulated people. And they're going to deny care for their loved one because she told them that hospice are bad people, bad. Hospice is bad. Don't fool with them, guys. They'll give you too much medicine. They'll overdo it. They'll over-medicate you. I think that that's an oxymoron when it comes to her as far as being over-medicated. Because I believe that this woman would take anything that somebody handed her. I really do. do. But anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions. Everything that I said here in this video, I am in no way, shape, or form a medical professional, and I'm not advising anybody on how to care for themselves or their relatives. I'm just giving examples of my own experiences and my own opinions. So unlike CMC, I will not tell you to call hospice or not to call them. I would advise you to listen to your doctors and to proceed with however is best for you and your family. And stop giving your money away to a woman who, let her know what real struggle is. Let her know what it's like to not be able to buy that t-shirt or that 8, 9, 10, 11 t-shirts. Let her figure out a way to come up with that money herself without you handing it to her so quickly and easily. Everybody, thank you for listening. I didn't mean to drag on this long. Have a great day.